Growing up, I lived in a small neighborhood in a small town in southern Ohio where everyone knew everyone. As a kid, we played our childhood games and made friendships. We went to school and became the best we could. This is not to say that we were angels, and yeah, we sometimes could be mischievous. I knew a kid from the neighborhood named Ronnie McJunkin, and he lived near me. So I got to know him and his brother Joe. As it was in those days, after graduating high school, most boys would join the military. If you didn't join, you'd probably get drafted anyway. As I was older, I joined the military first, went in the Marines. Then Ronnie, he entered the Marines later as Vietnam was heating up to a full-blown war. So one day you're a kid in school and the next you're a kid in a war. Joe's brother, Joe, Ronnie's brother rather, shared some letters with me that he had written while in Vietnam. As I read the letters, I felt a reflective sadness of a young man who was a casualty of war at age 20, who had never come home to live out his life. Sadly, of all, he had been wounded shortly after actually he got to Vietnam. And the wound wasn't enough to keep him out of or send him home, so he ended up being sent back to his platoon. And since Joe let me go through some of the letters he had written back home, I remember one letter in particular is dated June 4th, 1967. And Ronnie tells his dad and mom about how he got wounded. This would have been the first time. He shared how I got hit. I was walking down a trail and the point man, the first man, stepped on a landmine and he and another man got shrapnel in their legs and blew them off. Then, after they were medevac, 10 minutes later, another man in our squad stepped on another mine. As the two others, he got his legs blown off. My squad leader and myself got some of that shrapnel in our legs, but it wasn't too bad. My wound went clear through and they sewed it up with wire. Ronnie further states that the wound was open from May 26th to June the 2nd. Tell everyone I'm fine and don't worry, he says. Also, he writes, I will be home in 6.5 months. Something that caught my attention was the postscript he wrote. I'm 20 years old now and I have to face things like a man. And I can't fall back upon no one anymore and take things as they come. At that instant, was he anticipating what laid ahead, expressing his strength of character and his duty to carry on? Letters were golden for Lance Corporal McJunkin. He cherished receiving and writing letters. Another letter I discovered was dated July 7th, 1967, just a day over 3 weeks after the fateful day. We get mail call 12:30, he says. So if I get a letter from you, I will answer it so you will get it in at least 3 or 4 weeks. Well, it counted up. That was how long it would take to arrive, and it would arrive around July 29th. But on July 29, 1967, the 2nd Battalion, 9th Marines, undertook a battalion-sized reconnaissance in force into the demilitarized zone, dividing North and South Vietnam. The Marines' target was a North Vietnamese Army division that had set up housekeeping within and immediately south of the DMZ. And on 29 July, the Marines, they found the enemy at a place called Ton Cam Sun. And that was about 5 kilometers northwest of Con Tien. The cost of the ensuing battle was 31 Marines killed in the fighting. Company E, 2nd Battalion, 9th Marines, suffered the most killed. The total was 9 dead. Among the dead was Lance Corporal Ronald L. McJunkin. After being wounded the first time, in the letter I mentioned before, he wrote the phrase, "So I have to take things as they come." Well, he did just that and more, giving his youth and life for his nation's cause. One thing for sure is that in his letters, there was an emphatic love for his family. In all letters, he always ended with the salutation, "Love, Ronnie." Now that's the story of Ronnie McJunkin, a casualty of the Vietnam War, somebody that I knew, and I always remember him as that young man that was one of the kids in the block I lived at. Rest in peace, Ronnie. This is Bob. See you the next time.